Goth stuff! So, I know this video is kind of late, and I'm sorry about that. I promised this video because it was suggested to me by Isaac Villa. Isaac Villa asked me to do a video based on necessities of the goth scene. There are not that many. Here with me, I have Lucifer, Abattoir, and Necro Doll. You remember those two from the Black Sheep Servitude video. By the way, they just got a tape out, and it's pretty good. Band-wise, bands you'd need to know. Definitely Bauhaus. Peter Murphy's band from the early 80s. Mostly known for the song Bela Lugosi's Dead. Interesting fact about Bauhaus. Bela Lugosi's Dead was originally made to kill the goth scene, because Peter Murphy did not like the label of goth. There's been a lot of controversy over the term goth, and it's been misrepresented as a label as opposed to a subculture, and I'll get into that a little bit later.
Throbbing Gristle, Skinny Puppy, Christian Death, Sisters of Mercy, Virgin Prunes, Sex Gang Children, Skeletal Family, 45 Grave, Burning Image.
Good ones. I mean, you've got the obvious ones and the less obvious ones, like Depeche Mode and The Smith. There are way too many bands to list. There's so many different types of goth. There's so many different genres. Like, you've got your Rivetheads, and you've got your metal goths, and you've got your gothic Lolitas, and you've got your Victorian goths, and your industrial goth. As for the industrial is not cyber goth topic, Abattoir will explain a little bit of that.
Okay, industrial, you've got Throbbing Gristle, Cabaret Voltaire, Test Department, you've got Einstürzende Nebuton, you've got Skinny Puppy, Front 242, SPK, Severed Head, stuff like that. It has nothing to do with your Combi Christ bullshit.
A label as opposed to a subculture. A subculture is a group of people that broke off from another culture, punk in this instance, and began to gain its own form of identity. The subculture just has to do with a love of a specific type of music and an appreciation for the certain style. Not every goth messes with Ouija boards, but a label would be like fat, poor, ugly. A subculture would be more like metalhead, rivethead, punk. Well, Rastafarianism is a religion, but it's also a culture. So, hardly anyone aligns himself with just one culture. I mean, that's why there are so many subgenres of goth. Metal goths, industrial goths, plenty. Goth started in the late 70s. The manager was asked to describe Joy Division's music, and the only term he could think of was to compare it to mainstream music as you would compare a Gothic style architecture to Victorian. And for some reason the term stuck. Now, the clothing it comes from Susie Sue and Robert Smith and all of those folks. The makeup and the clothing are just something that most goths just happen to enjoy. You're not forced to look a certain way or forced to listen to certain music. You are goth because you like this stuff. It's not the other way around. As for the people who tell you that you cannot listen to non-goth music and be goth, you tell them to shut their mouths. Some of my favorite artists are Marilyn Manson, Coheed and Cambria. You can't go around telling people what to listen to. If they know their crap, if they know their bands, if they enjoy gothic music and gothic fashion, if it's really just those two things. Music and fashion are equally as important. Most people ask me where I buy my clothes. Now, being in Bakersfield, California, unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of just going down to the local goth store and buying a piece of clothing. So most of our stuff is DIY. Do it yourself. Make your own clothes. If you can't do that, go down to your local thrift store, your local Salvation Army, Goodwill, or small chain thrift store, or mod pop thrift store. I mean, you've got so many places you can buy things. Just buy some studs from your local like craft store, and put them on a vest. Take what you don't like on the vest off, and put patches on, pins. So far, I've got a Roz Williams from Christian Death pen, a Crass pen, an Amoeba Music pen, and a Jack Skellington pen. Stereotypical as hell. Another band, the first band, Joy Division. Fantastic group. And no, not every goth likes every goth song. There are plenty of songs by Depeche Mode that Lucifer hates. Don't worry, I have my fair share too. Not every goth will get into Bela Lugosi's Dead, as taboos that may seem for our culture. Another thing you've got to realize is you got to learn to just not give a crap, because people will give you crap for looking like us. It's just going to happen. You don't need to be afraid to say, oh, I can't get all dressed up if I want to go to Walmart. You've got to be able to get off your butt, be comfortable with what you wear, and be comfortable with who you are, and not worry about what other people think. Just be comfortable with how you look, not how someone else thinks you should look. Having your friend do your makeup, that's totally fine. But being told by someone that you don't know or someone you do know, I don't like that, that looks scary. That person's just going to have to deal with it. Because if that's who you are and that's what you appreciate, that's part of your personality, and you shouldn't have to change yourself for anybody. Fashion-wise, there are so many things you can do. I mean, you've got the Victorian-style gothic dresses, you've got the death rocker style, so many hairstyles, so many different clothing styles. Now, modern goth bands like Christ vs. Warhol or She Wants Revenge, which I touched in the first video, are also great bands. There are a lot of nightclubs to go around. Here in Bakersfield, California, there's Heresy, which I'll get to in a later video. You've got like Funeral, Bar Sinister. It's not that hard to find places. And if your local scene is small and you're worried that you'll be the only goth in town, one, stop caring about being the only goth in town. I was worried about that. And look what I found. And not every potential goth looks like this. You need, what most people don't realize is that the appreciation for music is very, very important in the goth scene. Probably more important than anything. If you're going to go around and say things like music has nothing to do with goth, or labeling non-goth bands as goth, you need to do more research, because people will call you out on that. There's no such thing as a juggalo goth or a rainbow goth. Those just, I'm sorry, no. There are certain things that should never touch goth, like rap. Ever. There's also the case of cyber goths.
The problem I have with them is they want to claim that they're industrial, and they do not respect the roots of it. They do not care to learn about anything regarding it. Everything they listen to is...
Now we're not saying every cyber goth is like this, just the ones we've known so far, and that's a lot.
They are more ravers than they are anything else, and it's like a costume to put on the weekends and go dance and get shit-faced and take ecstasy, and that's it. And that's about as far as it goes with them. And they're a bunch of elitist dicks for the most part that think they know everything and give us shit because we are not them.
And again, like I said, just be yourself and enjoy what you're into. Not every goth's favorite bands are goth bands. I mean, black metal's pretty huge with goths. A lot of goths. I like black metal. Abattoir likes black metal. And Lucifer likes black metal.
Of course, Lucifer likes black metal.
Look it up. One more quick question.
Yes.
Now, you don't personally have to follow a certain trend of it, because one, I like some of the things that are in cybergoth, like gas masks or the goggles, but I can also mix that in, still try and make them fit with others.
The only problem, I don't have a single problem with being able to do that and mix it in well. As long as you know your roots and you know what you're doing.
The problem I have with that is they want to make that a standard uniform where if you're not wearing that, you're just a piece of shit to them.
I can actually talk about a story. I had a Joker costume for Heresy. We had a Batman theme night, and I did an industrial Joker. And I was told it wasn't industrial enough, not goth enough, because I wasn't wearing any wires, tubes, vacuum hoses, or whatever the hell they wear in my hair, or neon gas masks.
Your mother still does.
So, if you can mix it in well, and it's just something you want to wear as part of an outfit or something, totally fine.
And then at that point, and when they're trying tubes and everything like that, at that point, you're stepping into steampunk.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
I agree with that myself.
Completely agree. Yeah. The problem is Cybergoth seems to borrow from a lot of other cultures.
Well, let's just borrow the term industrial for our music that's not industrial.
Let's borrow tubes and wires and steam-powered things.
Some plumbers.
Yeah.
And make it cyber even though it's steam-powered.
Another problem is there's this current movement, and originally I thought it was just here, and then I learned from other people that it was elsewhere. People are claiming bands like Black Veil Brides, Motionless in White, Falling in Reverse, Blood on the Dance Floor, and there's a lot of those emo kid scene bands. And look, most of the fans of Black Veil Brides will argue to their deathbed that it is not an emo band. It's an emo band.
It's not a goth band.
If it's not an emo band, then I don't know what it is, because it's definitely not goth. You can dress goth, and your music is not goth. Personally, don't know anything about Andy Biersack. The guy claims he likes Sisters of Mercy, and he wore a Smith shirt like once. I don't know the guy. From what I've seen, he's a jerk. That's my opinion. But just because you like a certain style of music does not make your music that you play that style of music. Best example, Marilyn Manson. Dude loves Joy Division, Sisters, Bauhaus, a bunch of obscure goth band knows like Catholic Spit. Yeah. Motionless in White is also a good example. They're not goth, but Chris Motionless loves Sisters and Joy Division, and there was a whole list given to me on my Instagram page. Yeah, Katy Perry has Sex Pistols shirt. No, it's not. He's not. You'll never see a punk go slam dancing to California Girls unless they're making fun of it or laughing or enjoying themselves. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Well, at least Bakersfield Punks.
Well, Bakersfield Punks, yeah. Another band that is not goth. Two bands that are not goth. Korn and Slipknot.
Thank you.
Do not know where that started or how that started. I've never seen a goth walk down the street looking like someone from... It's nu metal.
Nu metal?
Korn is nu metal.
Nu metal, sorry.
I'm not sure what the confusion with goth and nu metal is. If you go listen to nu metal, and then you go to listen to, like, Skeletal Family... it's just not.
Goth isn't metal.
Yeah.
It's never been metal, like straight goth rock.
Well, yeah, even death rock isn't metal. It's punk goth.
Slower punk.
Yeah.
Though there is gothic metal.
Yeah, there is gothic metal, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, like, in general, like, if you're into Slayer, that doesn't make you goth.
Yeah.
And... I'm done.
But, plenty of people don't know bands like the Smiths and Depeche Mode are goth. They are. Strawberry Switchblade is goth, and that's bubblegum pop. It counts because of lyrics and the time it came out and the things they use in their music. It's the style of music, the instruments used, the levels of music. It's so complicated. You'd have to ask a musician what makes a goth band a goth band. I'm a musician. He's a musician. They're musicians. He's also a musician. Yes. They're also noisicians.
It's what makes a goth band a goth band?
Yeah.
It's atmosphere. It's like a vibe atmosphere.
There's like a sort of eerie quality to some of it.
Well, like, some people will call Death and June a goth band, and they're a folk band. But
Yeah.
it's dark, and it's got that fucking...
The Strawberry Switchblade.
That's not dark at all.
Well, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing is, when you were describing... Okay, I'm actually kind of backtracking with this.
It's fine.
But when you were talking about industrial, how so fit would aesthetic perfection fit in that exactly?
Not at all.
It's It's like what, EBM?
EBM, EDM type of
EDM,
stuff.
yeah.
He personally sounds like Fall Out Boy to me. That's what I thought when somebody once showed me.
Now, he's a very nice guy. Dude has an insane stage presence, I won't lie. Met him. I worked at the club he performed at. Fantastic guy to be around. He's just not industrial.
My question is, where would he fit though?
Where would he fit EDM? It's
I guess closer to cyber
it's
stuff.
closer to cyber stuff, but I wouldn't put it past him from what I've seen, what I've talked to him about, to actually have known his stuff.
The goth aspects of them looks more like a visual thing.
Yeah, it is. It's visual. It's kind of like Marilyn Manson's shock rock, and I'm not talking crap about Marilyn Manson whatsoever. Believe me, I love early Marilyn Manson. Yeah, everything.
Born Villain wasn't bad.
Born Villain wasn't bad.
Neither was Behind of Low.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead and talk about.
Eat Me, Drink Me was bad. I don't have a whole lot to say on the matter. Just Born Villain was okay. Behind of Low was they had a couple good songs.
The differences between the
Eat Me,
Spooky
Drink Me
Kids.
is just yeah.
His early band, the Spooky Kids, was goth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
People get confused, like,
You want to talk a little bit about the difference between the Spooky Kids and Manson?
Don't have a whole lot to say.
The differences between the Spooky Kids and Manson. All you have to do, really, is just listen to it. Even the songs that carried over onto Portrait of an American Family, which is Marilyn Manson's first album, like Dope Hat and Dogma, which originally was Same Strange Dogma. Lunchbox, totally different. In fact, Lunchbox is really gothy in the original release. And then it ended up being a new metal rap song.
is gothy a word now?
Gothy is a word now. I'd patch that.
I'd totally patch that.
But if you ever ask someone what their favorite band is, and they're like, "Oh, Sisters of Bauhaus," and they Sisters of Bauhaus, or they list an actual goth band, and you ask them what their favorite song is by that goth band, like Sisters of Mercy, and they say Lucretia My Reflection, you just gotta ask what songs they know, not what their favorite songs are, because 9 times out of 10, if they're not legit, they will tell you the most popular song that they can see while searching on Google.
It's called YouTube.
YouTube.
Don't forget the blood on the bath.
Okay. Rainbow Goth. Everyone's reaction time.
Yay! I really still have no thing. Still no. Sorry.
It's fine. Rainbow Goths. Not goth at all. Ever. Never will be and never can be. It just isn't. No.
Calm your tits.
Okay. The differences between Rainbow Goth and actual goth are that...
Don't even do that. Makes it sound like it's a real thing. This discussion can't even happen.
Okay. Rainbow Goth isn't related to goth and isn't a thing. It's just some kids thought that because blood on the dance floor apparently looked dark and spoopy to them, that made it goth. Also, the pedophile lead singer also claims that he's goth.
Oh, he's totally right. Totally right.
He's a rapist. Everybody said he's a rapist. Everybody that's ever... A guy I have no respect for, Jeffree Star, has also admitted he's a rapist. He's a rapist.
There are court documents.
There are court documents. I know I'm probably going to start a flame war with one of you Blood on the Dance Floor fans. Please comment. It gives me more views, and I would love that. Just please.
Anyway.
Link your friends to this video to comment below. Please.
Your stupidity amuses us.
Bad band. Awful band. Not goth. Ronnie Radke from Falling Under Verse. Ronnie, if you're watching this.
Get a fucking life.
See, I'm not going to talk about much about Ronnie, but Falling Under Verse is not goth. Even though he's saying he's goth, that does not make him a goth at all. Dude knows none of the music. Says he grew up on Iron Maiden. No, it's not goth.
That's metal.
It's...
My grandma put on a Kiss wig once and said she was goth.
Does
not make it true.
I'm so very sorry.
So if I have a Lamborghini poster and I put a Lamborghini insignia on my Camry, does that make it a Lamborghini now?
No.
Exactly.
It's a
It
rainbow
makes it a
goth.
goth.
It makes it a rainbow goth.
That makes
You're driving a rainbow goth.
Blood in the Bauhaus.
Blood on the Bauhaus.
Blood in the Bauhaus.
Also, the argument is normally stated that most of the original Goths said they weren't Goth. Peter Murphy hated the label. Susie Sue hated the label. Robert Smith kind of just accepted it and went overboard. Roz Williams.
I will never claim myself or state the fact that put the label on me.
Eventually, Peter Murphy just kind of gave up on fighting that. Susie Sue still performs.
I was
A lot of the bands that did not like the label ended up performing at goth nightclubs. Also, there seems to be this common misconception that goth nightclubs should only ever play goth music always, all the time, forever. And if that's true, you're going to end up really bored.
And elitists.
Elitists.
Heresy's played a lot of psychobilly.
Heresy has played a lot of psychobilly.
Big here though.
It is huge here in town.
Yeah, this is-
You can occasionally you're going to hear Cyndi Lauper or Culture Club at your local nightclub if you have a local nightclub. If not, it's worth the drive. Believe me. If you live in California and you don't want to make the entire trip to LA and you live kind of here, I would recommend checking out the nightclub because we need people.
Heresy, first Saturday of the month, replay lounge. Check it out.
4500 Buck Owens Boulevard. Owner is Mike Fowler, and he's not in a video yet, but he will be. Fantastic guy to be around. He and Shyla are great people, tall people, and great people.
Looks like Hitman.
Yeah, he looks like
Yeah,
Hitman,
he
but
does.
you'll
That's scary.
once you meet him, you will love him. You will probably hear some crap about Heresy from some
What
people.
exactly is the
I
Great
can
Cybergoth?
guarantee that what you've heard from certain clubs or anti-clubs, that it's completely untrue. Heresy is a safe, great, fun place to be. Amazing night out and an experience you will never be able to get anywhere else. So, as for your intro to Goth, I'm Loki. That's Lucifer. That's Necro Doll and Abattoir. And that's James and the Giant Peach.
Oh God.
I'll see you guys later. And that's Chantel. She hates cameras. But that's about all I can do. I think my time limit is running out, so I'll see you in the next video. If you have any other questions, suggestions, comment box below, or my Facebook page, which you can find on my YouTube channel. See you guys.